You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This is not my home. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network that has a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also like to dive into other nerdy subjects that all of us love to frolic about in our free time. Batman Book Club is also on Patreon. If you like what's going on with the show and you want to help support the show and keep those generators running in the Wayne Manor study, go to patreon.com/thebatmanbc. And a quick shout out to a very generous lad, the newest member of the Patreon program for the Batman Book Club, The Smell of Comics. Thank you very much for The Smell of Comics for helping support the show. As I tell everybody that does help out the show, it all goes into keep the show up and running. Everything, it's never expected, but it's always appreciated. So thank you for throwing support our way. Now, thank you for listening to episode 190, Batman in February. This is, I believe, the 36th monthly wrap-up show. So this will be, 3 years now that me and this gentleman have united once a month. He is from straight out of Gotham. If there were an Olympics in frolicking, he'd take home the gold. It's Peter R. Verra. Hello, Peter. Welcome back to the Batman Book Club.
I cannot sanction your buffoonery, so really quickly.
Hey, you're muted.
News.
Oh, yeah, you're muted. Can't hear you anymore. It's crazy. I don't know who's going with that.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you're open. What's up?
Okay, now that I'm open, well, I can't sanction your buffoonery, but I will break some news. Cody Bellinger, 3 years, $80 million back to the Cubs. So congratulations, Lauer.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Now the Cubs will just let their fans watch their games. That'd be another thing. But
you can't. What do you mean you can't watch their games?
Their marquee network. It's a son of a gun. It is.
Oh, I remember I had a problem with that back in the day.
I'd say I've told you about this before too, and you talked about it with the old Yankees, but
No
but
longer
good.
do I have
Cody
that
Bellinger.
issue.
That's a good little extension there.
Yeah. He's a good ball player.
Peter, what do you think about that? Like this, after we finish talking here, it will be three years that we've done this. We've never missed a month, 36 months straight. Never missed, always done it. We've read hundreds of Batman comics.
There's only one thing to say. Suck it, Kowalski.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what the one thing would be. I really didn't. So okay, Kowalski.
That's the only thing to say. So you just put in the work, do the time, know what you're talking about. Don't be an idiot.
And you know what? Many people, maybe
ways to live life.
I highly doubt anybody has agreed with all of our opinions, but hopefully they've at least respected them, and they know that we say it with love because we do enjoy Batman. We are both high frolickers of Batman. We both are.
No,
you and I both are frolickers. Peter is a frolicker.
No,
fantastic. No. Okay, there we go. So, Peter, let's keep patting ourselves on the back and keep doing what we've been doing for 36 months. And let's talk about brand new Batman comics, this time released in February. Now, we're gonna group it all into one. But for the first 3 Tuesdays, a new Batman issue came out because it was telling a 3-issue arc called The Joker Year 1. So instead of going one by one on each, let's do like we usually do, stuff like this, and let's wrap it all. Batman issue 142, 143, and 144 was the Joker
really
Year
quickly,
1. Yes,
really quickly.
Go for it.
You review this for Batman on Film.
I do.
I've done this similar thing. Where DC likes to make us read everything every week.
Yeah.
Like, how is your experience doing reviews, reading Batman weekly as opposed to monthly? When was the last time you even did this? I can't remember the last time they did this to us.
Back when they were was Tynan twice a month for his run?
I
maybe
I don't remember.
the
I was dealing with
I
Tamaki.
man. I mean, I'll never beat the
That was
12 weeks
weekly too.
straight that you did for the Arkham Tower story and Detective.
Oh, that was 12 weeks. Oh my
Think
gosh.
it was. I think it was 12 issues. But no, I can't. I can't. I couldn't even tell you an act and like stand
Uh,
by that I'm speaking accurately. I can't. I have no idea. This is the first time in a long time. I know that much.
because
Three
it's
weeks in a
daunting.
row.
It
I
is.
mean, it was fortunately for me. I had a optimistic approach to this
Mhm.
because it was only 3 issues. And then what
Did you have a
also
slow week
helps.
at work? That usually
No,
helps.
no. I did not. But
Oh,
I
you
did
got
have
it in though.
I didn't sweat, yes. I'm committed to getting it in. I was almost sweating it at the very beginning of like, how do I make sure that I just don't say the same thing, hit the exact same tropes 3 weeks in a row, try to make something sound a little different, but
I
um
I have
I
trouble doing
I
that monthly.
yeah, okay. But I don't know. What helped though, actually, and out the gate with it right away was that I did actually enjoy this. Um,
Okay.
we've been I liked it, didn't love it, but I'm very like towards the positive on the liked it part. I think overall, I think I'd give it like a B. Um,
High or
all
low?
three under one.
You're closer to plus
I
or minus.
plus
Wow.
because
Okay. All right.
and I'll tell you
We're
why.
gonna talk about
So
it.
yeah, no, then that's fine. So Chip Zdarsky obviously wrote these 3 issues. Um, combining art from Giuseppe Camicoli and Andrea Sorrentino. The strength of the book. So I was worried in the first part because I'm going to try to not go into spoilers as well because some people will be waiting and read this when it hits DC Universe Infinite Ultra next month. But the the first issue did take us into the mind of the Joker, and I think that's a huge mistake. No matter what story it is, I don't want us to be inside of the Joker. I think it's ineffective. Um, it we need to be surprised by him as a character. That is an appeal of the character. And I think Zdarsky dropped most of that, if not all of it, in issues 2 and 3 of this. And I was thankful for. The second issue, there was a character introduced that also uh, we became aware of in, was it The Night? That
Yeah.
Zdarsky did,
Yeah.
the Batman the Night that you and I
Which
were
is
high
different,
on
kind
for
of like a sequel.
the first issue, and then the rest you and I were like, ugh, not our we didn't like it.
Yeah.
Zdarsky's tying some of that into that, which I'm like, ugh, and they brought in a certain character from that at the end of issue 1. I was like, ugh. In the second issue, I was getting very like, but then something happened that made me say, okay. And then the third issue, I think, just kind of really like succeeded beginning to end without any points that had me going, ugh. Um, I can understand the appeal of a writer wanting to do something of like a transition from a quote unquote regular guy into the Joker and the internal, you can get trippy with it and stuff. I just kind of think you should stay away from that. Um, and then also then when it tipped off that like you think this is trying to go the Killing Joke, but and that though that's a little there, it's from it follows 0 Year origin. And I think that's a good route you should go instead of trying to make it like with the Killing Joke. And then I think what I was completely blown away by was this intercutting of the past to this future story of Batman and Joker's like toxin on Gotham. And I think what blew me away with that was Sorrentino's art and some of the panels and how he did the art and everything was just kind of phenomenal throughout. That I think Sorrentino, I've seen some of his art. So he did the Imposter, Batman the Imposter, but I've read some of his other stuff that was horror. He does really good atmospheric, creepy freaking horror. And I loved that stuff from this too. So I try to refrain from the who was asking for this ever saying that because if we only got what exactly we were asking for, we wouldn't evolve in media at all, in stories and characters. Um, so it was just kind of like, huh, Joker, year one, I don't know. I guess we'll see. And I don't think there was anything that was really contradicting to the history of the Joker. And you can kind of take from this, you can take the Joker and have shades of gray of like nothing's completely definitive of like, was Zdarsky put this permanent stamp on the character and this is how he does it. it's kind of left open. It could be like a multiple choice kind of thing. So that's my long spiel. Take it away, Peter.
Um, I'm with you about like, you know, a writer tackling the origin of the Joker. It's a daunting task. I'd stay away from it. I give
Yeah,
Zdarsky a lot of credit for trying
sure.
to make this his own. I just didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Um, Having Batman and the Joker essentially being trained by the same person is a really stupid idea, in my opinion.
Yes,
I
fully.
think it's horrible. And that it goes back into the night, which I did not like at all. And then I did like the Joker's scheme at one part of the book where he had this virus thing, or I
Mhm.
don't know, this whatever it was that was turning people into Jokers and stuff. That was okay, but at the same time, I'm like, this feels like I'm reliving death of the family, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing everyone wearing Joker faces again. Like I'm just like I saw this before.
Endgame.
Yeah,
The
Endgame. Thank
Endgame
you.
was
It's
that was the
The Snyder.
widespread.
It was Scott Snyder. Sorry,
Yep.
I'm not the biggest Snyder fan. Scott Snyder. So like, it's not like fresh. So like, it just feels like that, and it's to be honest, the artwork's cool. If I feel like I'm talking about detective, the artwork's cool. The story sucks.
Gotcha.
I'm just, I'm at a really low point with Batman. On the both legacy titles, I'm not buying either of them, and I'm just really not happy. And I don't know, doing this weekly, like, was it even worth it? I don't know. Like, this feels rushed. I always feel like when they do this to the writer, they just push 3 months of comics in 1 month. Right. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't get why they do this stuff weekly. Like, this didn't need to be told weekly. There was no difference, in my opinion. So it feels like they're getting Zdarsky out the door. They're
Oh,
just getting his issues. That's my take. I don't know
okay.
how comics works. If I was,
Sure.
that's how I assumed. Like, we remember we were
Well,
talking
you know
about
how
Tamaki.
comics work. You're a professional fan. You know how they work. But in
No,
this
I'm just a
case, you don't know if
loudmouth with
that's
a
really what they're
microphone.
trying
You know,
to
like when we were talking about Tamaki, like they pushed the whole year out, so they got her out the door fast. That's my opinion. That's what they're doing. I don't know if it's not selling or people don't like it, but this feels like they're moving it along to get somebody else in Batman. But I don't know sales numbers.
I'm curious to see if there's a way to find the sales numbers for this and if it did pay off or not. I am glad they actually did all three this month rather than dragging it out. Um, it was a nice detour of, I don't know, like I kind of did look forward to this because we were getting rid of the failsafe crap.
I was until I read it,
As we
to be
said
honest.
as we said like last month, I didn't like the lead into this issue and how Bruce was sharing a cell with Joker, who knows that Bruce is Batman, and it's all like blah, 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 blah. As if like I know that you're Batman, and then like somehow what this is gonna connect somehow to Failsafe, and we're back to Failsafe next month, and I'm like, God, um, yeah. But as far as these go, so I'm showing Pete in the third part. There's this image
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
cool.
Affleck Dark Knight Returns is what
I thought
I thought of that
Affleck
right
was
away.
heavily in the book, to be honest with you. I thought
Oh
Affleck was
yeah,
all over the book.
definitely. And I thought it looked great, but there's like some images of Sorrentino how he does his art, but then this is almost like he takes panels and does like the Bermejo touch to where it almost makes it look a little bit more photorealistic and
Yeah, I get
lifelike. And
that
I
too.
loved him doing that throughout his work on this. So there you go. You get it probably like what a pass from you, or would you say people, try it, or would you kind of say, nah, pass?
This is meh.
Meh. Okay.
I'm not buying this. I dropped Batman.
Okay.
I I've had such an up and down experience with this Zdarsky run. I was so high on him coming after Daredevil.
Yeah.
He won me back when he brought Keaton back during his stupid little handless Batman phase. Like,
Yeah.
that brought me back. That era, that Batman will always kind of have a special place in my heart, obviously. So I came back for that issue. But after that, it's kind of been like, I don't know. And I
Speaking of
know that
Keaton,
the Terminator's coming at some point, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm just
Well, the cover for the next issue is Batman going hush and his face is wrapped in bandage. And it says something about failsafe on the cover, even. I'm like, man, I'm just Zdarsky, man. Like, if this is what we're settling in for another like year or so too,
yeah, I don't like
I'm ready
that.
to move on from it. Like, I don't want it. But speaking of Keaton, hey, Batman 89 Echoes, issue number 2, finally. We're gonna talk about it next month, Pete, because it's coming out
How
for
long has it
sure.
been?
November. It was
Okay.
supposed to
Wow.
be December, and then yeah, January, then February, and then March. So hey, look at that.
Well, I hope everyone's okay, right? Like I
I
just feel,
yeah.
right, like things get delayed for a reason. I hope everyone's doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. So there
There's
you
been a
go.
lot to talk about, so I haven't really missed it. Not because haven't been enjoying it, but just
Yeah,
because,
we've had enough. We've had enough
yeah,
to talk about. So
this is one of our lighter months, if I have to be honest with you.
yeah,
It felt very easy.
yeah, it was. I think I read half of everything in one sitting and was like, oh wow, look at this. I'm almost all caught up. So there you go. Joker year one. Look forward on DC Universe Infinite Ultra next
Yeah.
month. Um,
Or just go to the comic shop.
Pete or go to the comic shop. I liked it. Pete was meh. I guess it's just like it depends. I'd be curious because I actually haven't seen much. I haven't seen much reaction online, and I really want to see what other people think. Me and Bill, when I was on the Social Hour podcast on Batman on Film with him recently, we talked really briefly about this, and I think he felt pretty much like you. He was very much like, eh. Some parts he thought were cool, other parts were eh.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
but
meh.
maybe that's
It's meh.
yeah, exactly. So maybe that's gonna be the overall consensus. I don't know. Also the let's see, the first Tuesday of the month. I'm assuming, but maybe I shouldn't assume, Pete, you didn't read the Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #2.
I forget about this book until we do the show. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. But I apologize that I didn't tell you because I know you don't read these. You don't unless I say, hey, you should read this.
Scrappy.
This is one that I think you should read though, because it's got your boy Solomon Grundy.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I won't go too much into it other than Mystery Inc. They're trying to take a shortcut to Gotham City and they
Mhm.
end up in the swamp. And who do they see? They see good old Solomon Grundy.
Oh, this Solomon
You'd
Grundy
have fun
and a
with it,
pup
Pete.
named Scooby Doo. I'll always tune in
It
for.
sings to Pete. So go back and Pete. I think you should read this one. You'd have fun with it. Also looks very much, like the adventures of Batman as he
Hmm.
usually does, I think, in these series. But then there's actually a really cool nod to Carmen Infantino.
Awesome.
I'll show you. It does not spoil anything at all, but I'll show Pete, and then I mean it's that
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
the Batman and Robin on
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
rooftop
Everyone knows
corner.
that image. Yeah.
Everybody knows this image. They nod to that, which I love when they do that kind of stuff in these stories. And then I think the story overall was actually
I have
like
a
a lot of
question
fun.
for you.
I have an answer.
Do Shaggy and Scooby still eat like those 17-foot sandwiches in the comics? Like, you
Um,
remember when you watch the show, they would just have
oh
the
yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
long ass
And you don't know
sandwich.
how they can do that, but they do.
Does it ever pop in the book? I've never asked you that. I
Uh,
haven't seen in the few I've read, so I'm curious.
there's something with them eating like in every single issue. And this issue is no different, but I don't think it's a 7-layer sandwich.
Okay.
15-layer sandwich. Whatever. 7 would seem kind of small. 15-layer sandwich.
Yeah, especially for Scooby, who can open his mouth so tall.
Exactly.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
I think
I don't know
this
what
is
I do.
this one was a lot of fun. I think this was more fun than last month, and even with the volume 2 of this series that came out, I think this is the most fun one of those that I've read in quite a while. So that one's worth checking out, and I would recommend Pete you give it a look.
Sure.
Let's move along then to the second Tuesday of the month.
Hmm.
Batman and Robin #6. You can have at it first.
Man, thank God for this book. Like, this is just a
Whoa.
wonderful, wonderful
Whoa.
book. I love this book. I do. I
All
love
right.
it. Hobby hates it for some godforsaken reason I'll never understand. But this is cool. I mean, it leans a little bit more towards Robin. It's definitely a little bit more younger audience. So you know that getting into it, but like it's kind of it's Robin's definitely more of the lead, but you get some good Zaz stuff in there. This kid thinks Zaz is his dad, which is pretty hysterical. So it creates some interesting
Would you
what's
call
it called,
that then that
conflict.
he's a zaddy?
A Zazzy.
Oh, a Zazzy. Okay.
He would have to be a Zazzy.
Zaddy. I mean, I
My
don't know. You
daddy is
combine the two.
Zazzy. He
Okay,
can't be
got it.
Zaddy. That's already a term.
I know, but I mean, you
So
combine the two, the ZADD. I don't know, but
maybe
okay.
I don't know. Unless in the DC universe they have the whole DCEU drama, then
Yeah,
maybe I don't know. Maybe it could be. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Anyway,
all connected.
I'm digging it. I like Batman and Robin. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I really enjoyed it. It's probably the most enjoyable of the main continuity Bat books that I can that I'm reading. But it's not perfect. It feels a little bit 90s. It kind of feels like I'm at times reading an old like Chuck Dixon Robin book, Tim Drake. It's not the same, but it's giving me like that essence.
Hmm.
Maybe because it leans more towards Robin, but yeah, no. And I've actually enjoyed Damien. I know I recently just said on Twitter I want him killed, but I was just
You can still enjoy it and hope
I'm
that
just
he
talking about, yeah.
dies.
I mean, he's already died once. What's the
Yeah.
difference? So
Uh,
I've actually been enjoying Damien in this book and everything. So I don't know. I don't know how you feel. So I'm interested to see what you have to say.
Javi and I were on the same. We talked a little bit about it, this book early on, and how we were simpatico. We were both kind of in the same, in the same bubble with this book, and I was almost done with it. But I don't know if it was last issue or issue 4 where I told you something of like, I don't think this is like a turning point, but I think I did enjoy this issue, and I enjoyed this one too.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
fun.
was fun. I get I get a little eye rolling. I told you this of like how much Williamson's putting in Bruce looking at Damien being son, 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 like getting too mushy, cheeky, like smiley. And like the very last panel of this one is like Batman close up in the cowl, and he's like, like a big old smile. It's just kind of like this is kind of dumb. It's too much like fluffy. But other
I'll
than
give you that.
that,
Yeah.
the Zaz stuff, I actually thought that Williamson sped through that really quick. I thought because we were teased it at the end of last issue, right? Uh, I thought it was like, oh, okay, this is where we're going for a bit, and then I
I
don't
don't
know if
think the
it's
book's going to
completely
be
wrapped
many
up.
long chapters.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know.
Which that's fine too. Of like, yeah, the shorter, let's keep it moving. So I guess that I was just surprised by it. That's not a negative or a positive either. It was just, oh, okay. I guess it feels to me like we're wrapping this up now-ish. But yeah, overall, I actually thought it was kind of fun. And then this a character that pops up in this I'm not really familiar with, so I'll just see where it goes
If you've
with that
been
one.
reading Williamson's Robin stuff from the get-go, Lazarus Island or whatever, like Damien's been on like this whole journey. This is like one part of his Robin tale. Like Williamson's had a previous
So I think
Robin
so
stuff,
maybe that's something.
which I think is good enough to check out, to be honest with you. I know you don't,
So
and
okay, so he just said that writer extraordinaire Tim Sheridan with his Shazam, he did like a 4 issue Shazam story that was connected to his Titans Academy, and I think there was another like mini series that was also part of it. So Williamson, he's got this going on, but then he has that Batman book. Zdarsky has Batman tying into his, the night story and everything. Is that just going to be a new thing of a writer comes in and just has this massive thing? They're making everything connect to it because I don't really like that. But
um,
also,
I
if they're in
see.
that position, I could see a writer being excited of getting to do that. And there are some fans who are totally into it. And if I like the night better, then I would like the connections to Batman, but I didn't like the night. So,
Maybe I don't know. I'm not really sure. That's a valid point. I always thought of Williamson as the new Jeff Johns. Like he just seems to
yeah.
have his hands in everything, and when it comes to the big like company title, he's the one who's writing it. But yeah, I don't. Maybe this is. I always thought this was part of his Robin journey. So maybe that is a thing going forward.
Gotcha.
Because even like, well, no, because V's Catwoman doesn't really tie into his Batman too much. They kind of just run parallel. They don't really intersect. Or his Swamp Thing.
Okay.
Maybe it's just a coincidence between them two. Maybe
Okay.
they just happen to be on Batman and they're doing
Sure.
Batman related titles. Maybe they're just fans like the rest of us, so they're
But
probably eager
yeah.
to write these guys.
Well, as you said too, with Williamson, he's got his hands in all the cookie jars, but I think fans are enjoying all of his work too. Like he's a successful writer. So,
Yeah, I think he's hitting a lot more than he's missing right now. At least for me, definitely. The only person that's missing consistently is whoever the editor of Batman is.
all right. Well, bringing in now is the editor of the Batman titles, special guest. Hey, Peter, talk to who would this?
I
I should
mean,
look
do
that
you
up.
even know who it is?
No. Um. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Okay, there we go.
I'm trying to look it up, and oh wait, Ben Abernathy. That was going to be my guess, honestly. Yeah. Let's talk to Ben Abernathy and be like, listen, we love Batman, but
Hey,
I'm just really
BA.
curious, what's going on? I'm not enjoying a lot of stuff in the Legacy titles.
Yeah.
All right. Wrapping up though, Batman Black Label. Batman City of Madness #3, written and illustrated by. Actually, I didn't even say who the Batman and Robin issue was drawn by. Shame on me. Uh,
Shame on you.
oh crap. Nicola C. I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce it. Cizmesija, and there's some accent marks on the C, Z, and S. I don't want to embarrass, and so yeah, sorry. Ugh,
So thank you.
that's terrible. Yeah. Okay, City of Madness. Christian Ward, written and illustrated. Pete, you and I are on this Black Label train that we say this is where it's at, and
Yeah.
nothing has changed. Black Label, that's where it's at. I was completely satisfied with this, with book 3. This is the end of this story. It was only supposed to be 3 books. I liked all 3. I wasn't going to say I was hesitant on the first issue, but I knew that Court of Owls were coming into the first issue, and I was like, but I feel like we've gotten a lot of Court of Owls, but it worked within this. The story went to places I didn't expect. It felt original. The art is very much its own thing, which I think is always a strength for an artist, is when you feel like you have something fresh to show and something fresh to say. It's definitely heavily influenced by Morrison and McKean's Arkham Asylum, and I thought this was a really good Batman story. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm gonna be revisiting it
I
really soon,
just
like in whole.
I just want to make sure, like, did I interpret this the right way? Is Batman fighting Killer Croc and not a 70-foot alligator with 2 stomachs?
So I only read this once. I'm going with it's Killer Croc,
okay, because
but it's
like I
it's
saw that at
the
first and I'm like, where Godzilla's here? Like
okay.
I had to like reset it and I was like, okay, I do dig this. Okay, it's Croc. It's his mind. They're messing with his mind. Right? Like
Yeah,
he's not seeing it clearly. Like he's clearly like
but but there is a page where you're like, wait, what?
yeah. I was like, he's got a second stomach? Like,
Yeah,
or is it a mouth on his stomach? So it took me out a bit of the book, and I had to
yeah,
kind of like reset myself. But like,
yeah,
yeah, it was, you know what? It fits in really well with Arkham Asylum because it's really far out there. Like
yeah.
by the time you get to this, and then like I'm looking at Two-Face and I'm like, yo, Ward is really tripping balls right now. He split him the opposite way. I was like,
it's it's
I was like,
like he
he
didn't
didn't do that
have
before. I had to look back, like
it's
it was
like
interesting.
Morrison didn't give Ward what Morrison was tripping, but he's like, well, you can't have the whole thing. I'll give you a small dose of what I'm on, like
Yeah,
just to
Morrison
get you to
had
go
that
to
like
some of these
street
crazy
drug.
places.
Ward's got like dispensary drugs.
But no, like, yeah,
It's out
I
there,
mean,
man. But
it's
it's
out there,
cool.
but yeah, exactly. It's cool. Just like I know
And
we've
it's
talked
done.
about
It's not like going to be like some overarching thing for 7 titles and 50 issues and like, 3 other
own
writers.
own contained story,
Yeah.
kind of no rules. And I'm like in the sense of like, well, you have to make sure that Alfred's dead because he's dead in the main line, and you have to none of that.
I'm
It's
way
just kind
more
of like,
forgiving with that stuff when it comes to Black Label.
yeah, yeah,
Because
do
it's
your
like
own
it's just
thing.
done.
Its own story. And yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And I hope that numbers for this were really good because I think it's deserving.
The art was really
It was
stunning
fun.
throughout all 3 books.
Art was
I was like, wow.
consistently stunning and good, and yeah, like I don't know, I have good things to say about this story. I thought it was fun. um
But Ward totally
Messed
threw me
up.
for the loop. I was like,
Yeah.
where did this dinosaur come?
Yeah, and it'd be interesting of like, when does he choose of, so you have some backgrounds that are, I don't want to say normal, but kind of like a cityscape or something like
It's like a
that, and
good
then you
mix
go to one
match.
that's just like trippy. When you have like, you pour like the liquid from bubbles into something and the sun hits it right and it's this weird wavy like
Yeah, yeah.
rainbow stuff, like that's like, then there's a background that's like those colors and stuff, and then it's back to like a normal, and I'm like, I'm really curious how you can sit there and be like, or like, how does that work in your mind of like, how I'm gonna illustrate this, I'm gonna do really trippy ass backgrounds, and then I'm gonna have this be completely fine, and then this is gonna be trippy in a different way. But it wasn't, I don't know, I just feel like I was along for the ride throughout, and that just means I was really entertained by the story. So
Yeah.
this is definitely one that I recommend because I mean, Black Label stories, they're just, I don't know, they're the heavy hitters. I don't know a Batman Black Label. Oh, hold on. The Batman
Reptilian.
Reptilian.
Yeah.
Yep. that Black Label did not do it for us. I never finished it. But otherwise, I think the Batman Black
That
Label
was like
stuff
the
has
alien
been
resurrection of
good.
Batman books. And like at one point, Croc's just like giving birth, and I'm like, what is going on
Yeah. Oh
here?
man, it was that one wasn't fun. That one
Yeah.
was not fun. But everything else, I think Batman Black Label wise has been pretty damn good and solid. So,
Yeah.
let's see, moving right along. Third Tuesday, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, number 24, the old Kowalski book.
Yeah. This is a good one. This is a good one.
You can kick us off with this.
I like this. I was into this book. My man Uxas is in it.
Uxas,
Ryan's favorite, Magog and Gog. So double
Magag.
feature for Lauer. Kingdom Come universe is really cool. I liked jumping back into this. It was cool seeing the two Supermen kind of go at each other in a way. And yeah, man, I just like Wade is just hitting like all the typical like fanboy notes. Like this felt like a worthy addition and a worthy sequel to Kingdom
Hmm.
Come. And I dug it. I was into Daniel and everything, and Superman's righteousness. Like
Yeah.
it was cool. Like the way he went back in time, forward, did flashbacks. Him and Mora just really crushed it overall. Like it's if you've been reading DC Comics for like any extended period of time, this book is such a treat for you.
Hmm. Yeah, and our pal from Minnesota, I messaged Garrett and asked if he was unaware of this. He hasn't been keeping up on the monthly stuff, and I was like, you need to track these down because he goes to he preaches the word of kingdom come. So he'd be one that I'd be like, hey, how do you feel about this? And um the Mora, I think the last page last month was your boy Uxas. The
Yeah,
first panel of this issue, like the
that's
coloring, the
so
drawing
awesome.
of
The
everything.
eyes,
And like, you love
the
Uxas.
wrinkles above
You're
the
a
brow. He's
super
so adorable.
you're a super fan of Uxas. Whereas I'm like, yeah,
I
Uxas
speak
is cool.
Uxisian.
Yes, you speak. Yeah. Uh, but I just look at that and I was just kind of, I don't know. I'm like, man, everything about this freaking image of him is awesome. Just
Yeah,
like across the board is just awesome. And then you go through the next 10 pages or whatever, and he's just like a force that is like he has a goal and he just like whips the shit out of anything in his way from that till he gets to that goal. And I'm like, yeah, that's
ready
freaking
the
awesome.
armada. We will use the old ways.
Like I'm like, yeah, see, that's awesome. That totally works for me of like that's a good villain right there. Um and yeah, and
Let's
then
go. It's Uxas, baby.
yeah,
Uxas.
it was a lot of fun. I loved this. This was my favorite arc of World's Finest.
Yeah, easily,
It's
hands down.
it was a lot of fun. It was really good. It carried a lot of weight. It was, the emotional parts, and like you just said, of like the righteousness
And
of
I mean, just that
Superman.
blue Batman looks incredible.
No purple gloves to be found.
No purple
Um,
gloves we found. No one was fisting Thanos
it
today.
looks good. But like where it does come to a point, and like, yeah, like sorry, but Superman's righteousness, like you just worded it perfectly, of like that's front and center towards the back half of this issue, and I think really nails it of Superman as a character. And I would obviously you have so much more knowledge of Superman than I do. Garrett has so much more Superman knowledge than I do. Justin has so much more Superman knowledge than I do. But I'm like, I just feel like Wade, he understands the assignment and it nails
Yeah,
home like Superman as a character for this. And I just thought it was just really well done. This is a really good arc.
it's so much fun. It's just a treat.
Yep.
It's just great.
Good,
It's ice cream
great,
at the end of the
fun.
dessert.
Yeah. And I mean it's kind of like it's a completed story. You could just jump into this one. I mean, I guess you have to do some homework for the Daniel aspect, but I don't know. You wouldn't be totally lost either. But yeah, this was good stuff. Highly recommended. Check out the arc. And it's technically called Heir to the Kingdom.
Mhm.
That's this arc. So it'll be collected and released at some point.
You'll be
Phew.
lowerized.
Phew. My goodness.
Are you tired?
No, I just feel like I just said a lot right there.
Oh, are you scared?
I'm very scared of Uxas. That guy is not as Alfred would say, he's not to be trifled with.
No, no, no.
Tuesday, February 27th. Oh boy. Here we go. Peter, Detective Comics 1082. Take it away. This is your book that you've been championing, writing reviews on Batman on film for like a year and a half or 2 years or something. A lot of issues. Pete, Detective, go.
I don't like it, and that's it.
And that's
I
it. All
just
right. Next book that came out
it's
on that
not good.
Tuesday. uh
Yeah,
Said it
that's
many
all I got.
times. Like love the art, don't like the story. Like and there. I gotta be consistent here. I was gonna butcher it, not butcher it, but mix up the names. So obviously Ron V wrote it. Art by
Yes.
Riccardo Federici and
Mhm.
Stefano Raphael. Federici's art, I love his art. Flat out love his art. I think his art's
Yeah.
great. I love that guy's work. Period. Um,
My
Rinse
biggest gripe is the intercutting of the stories.
with the
That drives me
question,
crazy.
yeah. Like I guess just rinse repeat what Pete and I have been saying past, for months when it comes to detective. Not our thing. We don't like it. We're kind of sick of saying enjoy the art, don't like the story for Batman comics. We want it. It's not working for us. I want better. Sorry, not sorry. The
Yeah.
end. We can just move on. Let's move on to happier times. Maybe. I don't know how you feel about this. Batman the Brave and the Bold, number 19. Number 19?
Yeah. I was
10? Number
I
10. I don't
have
know why I put 19 in there. It's
I don't
number
know.
10.
You're not paying attention.
No, I'm not paying
Uh
attention.
the Batman. I'm not buying this book for obvious reasons
Hmm.
because I think it's kind of a ripoff. But I did like the primary the first Batman story. I thought that was very interesting. Uh,
Batman Mother's Day, Part 1 by
yeah,
Carl Kerschel, who wrote and drew.
I've grown on Mia Maps a lot. I can't pronounce her last name, so she's just me. I just give her the double first name, Mia Maps.
Yeah.
She's kind of a cool character. I don't know how like
What's her
official.
history?
She stems from Gotham Academy, so I've had to do a lot of
Okay.
like retro reading and not necessarily reading, but like wiki reading. So I've been reading fandom and Wikipedia, and I've been kind of getting just a glimpse of this. So I believe she came from Gotham Academy, and she pops up in these anthology books. And the few times
Okay.
she has, she's kind of like Robin Light, where
Hmm.
like she's not really Robin, but she'll put on a suit and act think she is, So I don't really know. Like her real standing because she doesn't really get mentioned outside of these weird anthology books and obviously Gotham Academy. But she's kind of a cool Robin. I've kind of grown on her a little bit, and this deals a little bit more with Bruce Wayne and his persona,
Hmm.
playboy, not playboy, who's he really dating type life, and that's kind of a cool little side story because like. I feel like we get so into Batman, Batman, Batman that we often forget about Bruce Wayne. And so I appreciate when they do things like that. And yeah, like Mia's just cool. Like I wish they would give her a bit of a mask. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily like the yellow sunglasses. Maybe if she had a yellow mask, I'd be down for it. But I guess it kind of serves the purpose. But yeah, I didn't read the Artemis story. Usually I dig Artemis, but I'm not feeling it. It's just like I had other things to read at the same time. And I will say, there was another story in here. I didn't read that either. Yeah, I don't even know what it's about. But Dan Waters. Oh, was it Dan Waters?
uh,
Not to be confused with the great Daniel Waters of Batman Returns fame. Dan Waters may go down as one of the worst Batman writers I've ever read in my entire life. Like I just from this point on, I don't think I'm even going to bother reading anything from him because it just doesn't jive with me. But this burger story was probably one of the dumbest things I think I've ever read.
I
Like
see his name and I
I've
instantly think of you, and I saw it for here, and I was like, Pete.
I don't know. I
He's yeah, doesn't
I will
write it for
not.
Pete.
I don't think I ever will go to the Dan Waters table at a convention and ask for a signature.
Okay, there you go.
Lauer could give me the book and ask me to do it, and I won't do it.
Yeah, but you know what? I respect you as a friend to be upfront and honest.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. No, I will not do that.
not happening.
I will sit in the I don't know. Well, what's his name? Larry Fong line all day.
Okay,
Because that
all right.
line's going to be a lot longer.
So that was the black and white story, Batman the Cheeseburger from Dan Waters and art by Ricardo Lopez Ortiz. I was very middle of the road on it. It was kind of I mean, it's fine, but then the art made me feel a little like Paul Pope at times too, and Paul Pope I'm hot and cold with.
I like
So
Batman 100 or Year
this
100,
is
but
a black and white story that I'm like middle of the road. It was all right, but I didn't love it. I the Mother's Day, the main story, I thought that was really fun. That was really
Yeah.
good. Intrigue, like you said, of we're zoned in on Bruce Wayne, and then yet again this month we get Blue Batman, um, through and through, no purple gloves,
Yeah,
and
because that looks stupid.
and a Man Bat story, or is it?
Yeah.
That was good. And I appreciate the whole setting up. I don't have knowledge of all maps, but yeah, she was a very likable character. It didn't annoy me of like, oh, another Robin sort of deal. It was, I don't know, it was like fun. Um, and yeah, I mean, it set some stuff up that, it did a lot for its like what, 20 pages, 22 pages.
Mhm.
And I'm sign me up to see what happens next. Like I genuinely look forward to seeing the next part of the story. Thought that was fun. That was good. And I didn't read the two middle stories, which, like you said, was Artemis, and then the other one is
The
Nameless.
Signal.
Oh, there's Nameless, and then Lois Lane, the game, was a prologue.
No,
So I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not up to date on any of that. I don't really, meh, whatever.
Yep, more meh.
Uh, okay, Pete, that does it for the Batman issues. So now we got to go to the first one. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong #5. Uh I say this in a positive way, more of the same in the sense of just like, yeah, Justice League trying to figure out how to take out the monsters. It's fun. I gravitate because I think you and I talked recently even and said that we think we're like Kong guys. We're Skull Island fans. And so I think I'm gravitating more towards the Green Arrow, Supergirl, Kong story, and especially in this one where Kong comes face to face with Grodd uh and his
Heroes.
army. And I don't know, that was cool. Nice little spin on what's going on there. And I mean, Batman's involved in this. He's not the star. I'd say obviously Superman is, but Superman has not done anything the past 2 issues or 3 issues.
He's literally got his own issues.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, I thought this one was fun. It continues on to be like a good little, summer blockbuster comic book story.
Um,
Did you read it?
I could totally see James Gunn making this a movie in like
Okay.
4 years.
After we just saw Jurassic League's coming to animated form,
That
why the hell would this not happen?
I'm just saying, like this book is so well done. Like it's the perfect balance between the two. And I'm still impressed they're pulling this off and executing it so well. Everyone really acts well within their own bubble. Like the whole underwater Godzilla, the Kraken thing. Like I was
Mhm.
fascinated by watching the Kraken fight that monster thing. I was really into it. The Green Lanterns were great. Like the Justice League is so well balanced and used so well. Like I'm so impressed.
Mhm.
It takes a lot for me to really get into a good Justice League book because there's so many moving parts, and everyone knows I like solo stories about characters. Like I just love the character itself. Like I want to kind of be immersed in that world. But this is really done well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really digging this. It's so much fun. Like I just can't believe they're pulling it off. So this is better than both Batman titles in itself.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's been more consistent, definitely. So yeah, so for me, I would agree with you. I think this has been better than the two Batman titles. I've enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
I thought Jurassic League, the comic, was just like fine. The concept was
It
fun.
got
It
too much
got
like too
tiring.
beating a dead horse over a certain
Yeah,
amount of issues.
this is better than that. And that's being turned into an animated movie. So I didn't even think of it, but I'm totally with you. Of like, yeah, why would this not be a
I'm just
animated
saying,
movie?
with the
It
landscape
should.
of movies and the fact that no one's going to go see them and the DCU is getting shoved down our throats whether we like it or not. Like they're gonna be like, we've got two. Like I'm just saying, we've got one dying franchise. Let's merge it with something we want to
Yeah,
be successful. Like
bring everything together.
I don't be
Godzilla, Kong,
surprised
Justice
if it
League.
happens. Remember, it reminds me of the old like 21 Jump Street Men in Black rumors. Remember those
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember those.
things
Except
like
this.
that?
So this would be titled though.
RoboCop versus Terminator was always a thing.
The title though, because they'd have to bring it in to be Batman and the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Like we got to get Batman in the title somehow.
It would just be Batman versus Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes. Which hey, you know what? I mean, I'm there. I
I cannot wait for the op-ed by Bill the morning
yeah.
that is announced.
Okay. It's coming. Also, let's see that week, Nightwing issue 111. Now, I left that off of the list with you because initially I saw Francesco Francavilla's drawing the backup story with that let's see who wrote it. Trying to get there. Just hang in there. That was written by Michael W. Conrad. I am a big fan of Francavilla. And so I just skipped right to the back because I haven't read Nightwing for a little bit ever since Pirate Nightwing. It
You
lost
didn't
me and I
really need
stopped.
to.
Yeah, I just kind of stopped, hadn't picked it back up.
Wow.
I thought the backup story was really cool. It's really like cool, different, fun, obvious winks to DC stuff and everything. Like it was fun. Gave me the art that I look forward to from Francavilla. Then you texted me, or no, you posted online about the main story. And so
Yep.
then I went back and I read the main story, and then you texted me and said, you need to read Nightwing 111. And I said, already did. But
You
you're
should ooch yourself.
you motivated me to read the main book, so I want you to have the first word on it.
This is just like perfect. It's such a well-balanced Batman family book at times because Babs is even involved really
Hmm.
quickly, but it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like anyone who doesn't like what Dick Grayson brings to the table through Batman, I suggest you read this and reconsider your ways. Because it proves that Dick is such an essential part of the other side of Batman. You know, you Batman it gets a little bit of tunnel vision. Batman kind of only sees things one way, and Dick is kind of his eyes and ears out there to steal something from Amazing Spider-Man 2. You know,
Yeah.
he kind of sees things in a different light. You know, like he's out there. They could occupy the same space, but Dick sees things from a different lens, and I think that's why Dick and Tim, those versions of Robin, are very important to Batman, and as is Nightwing. And this book just perfectly displays that. And then you have a whole different aspect of it with the uncle that you didn't see coming. It's this is probably one of the best Tom Taylor Nightwing books, and probably the most overhyped book currently in production. But this book was phenomenal.
And I second it. Everything you said. I thought that this was awesome. Awesome issue. I don't know how many parts of it'll just be two parts, but it'll carry on into next month's
I mean,
issue. And yeah,
that
I think
cover, beautiful.
so that's what I was gonna say. Bruno Redondo did the main cover, and I think that is a great cover. But then our boy Dan Mora did a variant that I think is equally as awesome and looks great. And I'm like, man, which cover do you get? Um,
I didn't even
but
get that variant. I got the Valentine's Day variant because
you
of
got the
Babs.
Valentine's. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Dick and Babs.
I thought you were maybe gonna get the Snow Angel variant, but I guess not. You got the Valentine one.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Budget. You can't get
Can't
every
get all
variant.
the variants, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
geez.
it is. But yeah, this was an awesome issue. Nobody has to be a monthly Nightwing reader to jump in. Nightwing 111, you won't
You
regret it.
just kind of got to
Excellent
know
issue,
your Batman and Robin history.
which I think everybody who reads comics does.
They
So
should.
they should. You don't really have to know. Yeah, you just don't have to know much. It was an awesome issue. I thought it was great. So I'm glad that you motivated me to read it. Let's see. Then lastly, I needed no motivation to read this one. Penguin number 7. Booyah. Um,
Dude, this book is everything I've ever wanted out of a Penguin book. And I've gotten some great Penguin
my
books throughout my
goodness.
lifetime. Right? Like
My
we've talked
goodness.
about a few Penguin books on this show,
We have.
and we've loved each and every one of them in different ways, different eras. But this one is a really fantastic, especially this issue, just
Hmm.
take on the relationship, partnership of Batman Penguin,
Hmm.
right? You know,
Hmm.
I love the guilty aspect of Batman letting Penguin do his thing for a fee, right? You know, like
Yeah.
scratch my back type deal. Fascinating, fascinating.
Whew.
And I love, yeah, the give and take. Like, you know, when they try, who likes to see how much farther they can push the other one? You know, like it was Tom King. At one point, I mean, it just don't ever question why he wrote this book because it's brilliant.
Yeah. He it's so funny because uh shameless plug, but somehow, some way, He ended up being a guest on this show last year. Very friendly, very nice guy. Like, just seems genuinely, authentically nice. And then how he can write some twisted shit in comics. Not like overly like, whoa, this is too much, but just kind of like continues to just not know what you don't know what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
This Penguin series, I love it because you just don't know what's gonna happen next. This issue, I didn't know it was gonna happen next. Everything like you said, the um Batman Penguin like team up, if you will, and stuff like that, and how Batman's aware of what he's doing, but letting him like, I don't know, all that was just awesome. And then Stevan Subic, Subic, Stevan S, who did Riddler Year One. His art, this is the second issue that he's been on, maybe just for this arc, An Unimportant Man. Which I don't know how many issues this arc's gonna be, but I think that was excellent. Yeah, this is just good stuff. Good stuff. Big fan.
Yeah, no, I'm loving every minute of it.
All right, and that does it for me. What do you got?
The only thing I have to add is Catwoman 62. Teeny Howard, kind of a mixed bag for me this issue. I love Catwoman joining the Suicide Squad, pulling off a mission for
Ooh.
Amanda Waller. That's really cool. But the whole supernatural element she's bringing to Catwoman is a little
Uh-oh.
weird. Now,
Uh-oh.
I don't know if Catwoman has the powers of Shazam right now. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Wait,
But
that's
yeah,
something.
it's something. And she literally has like 9 lives. I think she's down to like 7 right now. So she's
Huh.
doing her own little thing. It's
Okay.
interesting. It's not my favorite Catwoman. It's not horrible because there's a lot of good stuff in here. But yeah, I kind of wish it would kind of tone it down with all the supernatural stuff.
Sure.
But yeah,
Okay.
no, but it's still fun. It's still fun. But every once in a while, you're just like, that's a head scratcher.
Yeah. You got supernatural powers. Oh, great. Halle Berry, Catwoman then, right? Maybe
Uh,
that's it. That's the influence.
maybe Patience Phil. I don't know. I've actually never seen that movie.
I haven't
Uh,
either.
I one day I will one day when I go down to the great state of Hossville
Yeah.
and I visit him, I'll buy the popcorn and we can watch it on his
The viewing party.
I think he has it on Laserdisc. So
Okay. There
yeah,
you
I
go.
think he made that himself, the Laserdisc copy of Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Okay. I'll be there too. Okay. Let's have a Catwoman viewing party.
Catwoman viewing party.
Meow.
You think Bill will come?
Yeah. Absolutely.
We could
Uh,
follow it up by watching Batman Returns.
you bring Holzman, I'll bring Bill. Done. Okay.
If I bring Holzman, I
Well,
don't have to pay for a plane ticket. He'll just call one of his like Kraken, and I can ride
okay.
the waves.
All right. Done. Uh, lastly, Peter, I have questions for you. A couple.
Yes, you've got a question?
Number one, what
Mhm.
was your favorite issue of the month?
Hmm. Penguin 7.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm a little torn with that. I would maybe throw Nightwing 111 because that
That's a
was,
good
I
one.
think, if I get completely surprised, that wasn't even on my radar to read this month, and I was, and I got floored by it. Penguin, otherwise it would have been Penguin, but yeah, I think maybe Nightwing because yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. Where I know to expect great things in this Penguin book by now. Like I don't think it's going to tank at some point here on out. I think we're in for a good ride the rest of the way.
Yeah. I just
Um,
hope I hope Mr. King has passion for other villains because I wouldn't mind seeing him do other villains.
get some more. Let's get that
Get
egghead
it in.
comic. Secondly, there's a listener by the name of Mitch Wrestler, Reisler.
Okay.
Uh, he he actually messaged and asked if there was going to be a Q&A episode anytime soon. And I said, I don't know. I actually haven't pushed towards people writing in with questions lately. So he took it upon himself to send an email with a lot of questions.
For
So
you?
I thought maybe for us, if we were going to have a Q&A episode. So P, I thought, how can I utilize this and we don't have a Q&A episode? So how about you and I maybe just limit it to one when we do our wrap-ups. We'll go through, we'll make our way through this questionnaire from old Mitch. And we'll just go take it one question at a time.
How
So I want to
many
ask you
questions did this guy
one,
write in?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate it, Mitch, but I think Pete and I, like, we
Are
read a
these
lot of
homework
Batman comics,
questions or
so
can they be like
no,
off the dome?
I will give you no, this first one, it can be off the dome. There are maybe a couple in here that I wouldn't hit on, like hit you up like right now and X. I'll give you a heads up for a future wrap-up episode. So this is maybe part 1 of 9 of Mitch's questions
A
for us.
9-part series, the Mitch Spectacular.
That's right, the Mitch Spectacular. Thank you, Mitch. Let's see here. So Pete, Mitch, one of his questions is, why is Batman evergreen? I think we can answer that without having to do homework. So, in your opinion, why is Batman evergreen? You can lean into movies, TV shows, and stuff too, or if you just want to stick to comics. But what would your answer to that question be?
I think it's just for the simple fact that he's just a man. You know, he's a man doing justice, and that applies. That people, just get down with that. You know,
Mhm.
he's just a hero, self-sacrifice, stuff like that. Like, a lot of these characters, the reason why we levitate to them is we see a lot of of what we want to be in them. We wish we could
Mhm.
do some of these things. So I just, just the overall like nobility and righteousness, and this applies to mostly all of them, not just Batman, but I think all these heroes, at least for me.
Yeah. Let's see. Evergreen for me, it's like I think the first thing that you just said, like he's a real human being, like a regular human being. So you can just kind of fit him into the mold of the times because he is a human being and his characterizations and everything. How much has he changed from 1939 to 2024?
You got rid of them damn gloves.
Got rid of the purple gloves, but I mean he's not too, it's not such a crazy, difference. He's been able to remain the same. And it's like, well, let's change the costume a little bit. Let's add some other characters. But Gotham has crime, and you have a man that has a passion to go and try and, fight back for the city. And that mission just hasn't really changed. So I think that um I don't think that you have to change much to quote unquote update him when it comes to that. So I think that's why he's evergreen. It's just the point that many of us think of, because he's just a regular human being in the end. So
Yeah.
all right, Mitch, I hope you're happy with that. Next
8
month we'll
more
come
to
back with
go.
another one. Yep, 8 more to go. Strap in. So yeah, there you go. Thanks, Mitch, for writing in on that. And Pete, I'm gonna let you go now. So why don't you go ahead and accept my appreciation for coming back for the 36th straight month to do a wrap-up episode.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
Well, if you want to follow me, thank you.
Well, now go ahead and plug away. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And that was the last time that Peter was on the Batman Book Club.
No, this is a blast. I love doing this. It's great because I like reading Batman. I like talking about Batman, and I get to shove this in Justin's face. So it's a win-win and everything.
Yeah.
It's
There
one
it
of
is.
those things that it just brings a smile to my face.
Yep.
But if you want to follow me in my Uxisian delectables,
Yeah.
you can follow me on Twitter or X or whatever it's called at Pete Illustrated. You can follow my news podcast I do with the champion of Long Island, Eric Colesman, at straight out of Gotham, at straight underscore O underscore G. That's straight out of Gotham. There's a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. Here once a month with Ryan Lauer talking the good talk, and I'm all over BatmanOnFilm.com, Batman on Film YouTube, and Batman on Film podcast. So check me out over there.
To quote the late great Stuart Scott, booyah.
That's it. There
Follow
you go.
Pete.
Wrong show.
Follow the Batman Book Club. And I can't help it, when I hear you say that, because I'm so used to your plugs on Straight Outta Gotham, and you end it with the booyah. I'm just like, if you don't say it, I'm like, Pete, you didn't say it. Like, yeah, because I'm not on Straight Outta Gotham right now.
That's not.
You
Yeah,
dummy.
that's it. That's Holzman only.
That's it.
That's it. That's the benefit. That's Holzman gets benefits.
You can follow. Whoa. All right. Holzman with benefits.
Holzman with benefits. Yes, Holzman with benefits.
You can follow the Batman Book Club on all the social areas. So Twitter/X, Instagram, that Blue Sky Threads madness, all at the Batman BC for latest episode drops, upcoming episodes, sometimes some giveaways. And hey, you people voted and you do want another Batman Book Club bracket challenge. So that's
Ooh,
coming
best
up in March.
colorist?
No, that's not it. This
Okay.
one's a little bit more complex. So look forward to that. Make sure you pay attention to the socials for that and participate, because it's always more fun when more people participate. It makes it a lot of fun when it's underway. So check in on that. Subscribe to the Batman Book Club YouTube channel, where Pete and I are going to No Man's Land this year. It's happening. It's gonna be great. Um, Keep following the show, because I'm pretty sure March is going to be another really good month. Can't say anything yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to support the show, there's a variety of ways you can do that. Like I said at the top, you can join the latest patron, Smell of Comics, and support the show on patreon.com/thebatmanbc. You can also go to tpublic.com and type in TBBC for the Batman Book Club. You can help out the show there. But if you want to help support the show and you don't want to spend any money at all, it's 100% A-OK. The easiest, quickest, and most impactful thing you can do is rate and review the show. So whichever podcast outlet you listen to, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iHeartRadio, just go to the rate and review page and rate and review the show, because the more reviews the show gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as Peter and I both know, that word is panic. So for Mr. Verra, I am Ryan Lauer. And until next time, read my Batman comics.